Right. I think we're good to go. Hello, everybody. I make it 1 o'clock on the hour. I think we're all good. The slides are working. They weren't a few minutes ago, but now we're good to go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so thrilled, so excited to be here today. It's Friday, the sun is shining. We're going to be talking about confidence today, and specifically how to be confident. It is that topic, isn't it? That it's that thing that we all desperately want. It's the secret ingredient that we think is standing between us, or is missing rather, right? Between where we are now and all of the things that we want to be and want to do. So it's like with the biggest heart and the biggest amount of excitement that I welcome you here today, because what I'm going to share with you on this webinar is going to serve you not just where you are right now in your career, in your life. It literally will keep serving you for years and years and years. You will always have the process I share with you today, the skill I teach you. You are going to have this for the rest of your life. I am not overselling this. This changed my life, what I'm about to share with you today. So buckle up, hold on to your seats, okay? Phones away, pay attention. Let's dive in. Now, you are in the right place. Who I had in mind for this webinar when I created it was if you are someone who maybe you doubt yourself all the time. Like that is something I'm hearing a lot more and more, that there is this just kind of constant anxieties, uncertainty that follows you around in everything that you do. It shows up in your personal life, it shows up in your professional life. Maybe that's you. And while I'm talking, I want to get you engaging with me today. Please engage with the slides, with what I'm sharing. Tell me what it brings up for you. While I'm going through this and the different places you might be on, let's call it your confidence journey. Just share with me in the chat, actually, which one of these resonates with you. I'm the only one that can see the chat, by the way. So as I go through, let me know if you are someone who pretty much doubts yourself all of the time. Let me know in the chat how you feel, where you are. That's the right question. Where are you on your confidence journey? If you're not someone who doubts yourself all the time, maybe you're someone who, okay, you doubt yourself so much in the office, but actually when you're at home, you are a lot more confident. When you're out with your mates, you feel confident, right? So someone says, yeah, I feel all of them. So when you're out with your mates, you might feel confident, but then as soon as you get in the office, it's like you're a shadow of your former self. So maybe that's you, and you've got that weird conflict between you just don't feel yourself in the office. Maybe you're there on your confidence journey. Or perhaps you're someone who, okay, in the office, you actually do know you are good at what you do. I have so many of you who come and you speak to me and you share with me about what you feel, where you're getting stuck in your career, for example, and you can't understand it because you know you're good at what you do, but there's this barrier, there's this thing that's stopping you from progressing to the next level, doing the things you know you need to do to progress to that level. And you're like, I know I'm good at what I do, but I'm afraid to be visible, or I struggle with negative feedback. I don't know how to showcase my value. Yeah. So maybe that's you. Maybe you're there on your your confidence journey. And then finally, I'm also speaking to you. This is also going to be so useful and relevant. If you are someone who is confident where you are, so you're not just confident about what you do and know you're good at your job, but actually you do feel you have a level of confidence in your work and in your life. But there's a but. And the but is when you think about where you want to go, or maybe where you have just been appointed, if you just had a promotion. If you think about the future, your next level of progression, that scares you. You're safe. You're confident where you are right now, but you want to go to that next level and you don't feel confident about that at all. So let me know where you are on that journey. Thanks for sharing. Someone says, yeah, I'm not like that, not like this at home, but I am like this in the office. And if there's anywhere that I haven't caught, there's a situation or your relationship with confidence, because that's what this is, these different places on your confidence journey, they're different relationships with feeling confident. If I haven't covered one of them, then share that too. I want to make sure that I'm understanding you at every single stage of this journey so that I can help you and support you better. So you're in the right place because we're talking about confidence today and how to build it. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I am so delighted. Such a pleasure to meet you. My name is Caroline Flanagan. I am the career progression coach for Black lawyers. It's very specific. I'm very passionate about supporting more Black lawyers to enter the profession, stay in the profession, and progress to the top of the profession. That is absolutely key and fundamental to having more diversity and inclusion, not just in the legal industry, but I see that impacting wider communities. I see that impacting like villages, towns, like the whole world. The more diversity we have in positions of authority, in positions of influence, the better it is for the world. So I'm very passionate about that. I'm also an international keynote speaker. Some of you may have been to some of my talks. I do a lot of speaking for firms. So this is also part of what I do, again, in support of this mission that I have to see more Black lawyers to progress to the top. I have a podcast, Legal Imposters Podcast. I'm also the author of Be the First, which specifically speaks to the unique experience of imposter syndrome in people of color. And I'm going to be speaking to that experience as well a little bit today. So that is definitely where what I am going to share with you, the solution and the process I'm going to share with you. If you've read this book, then you will have had a glimpse of what that process, what that solution is, and what I'm really excited for you if that is you, because the book, I brought it out about 3 years ago. And since then, people have been asking me how do I put this into practice? Can you do something, create a course or something, Caroline, to help me just work through the steps in your book? Because I really see the value of them and I can really see how it would work for me. Well, hint, hint, what's coming later today, I cannot wait to share with you, is exactly that process. How you can take what I teach you today about building confidence, what I taught in Be the First about building confidence, literally how you can take that and start applying it in your life, getting real results, increasing your confidence today. Cannot wait to share that with you. And then last but by no means least, I'm a Magic Circle trained ex-finance lawyer, right? So I have 10 years experience working in very competitive environments. I know what it's like to be under enormous pressure. I know what it's like to be working with lots of high achievers and to have clients with very high expectations in a really demanding environment. And I know the impact that that can have on your confidence. So I'm bringing all of this. All of this is what lies behind what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So that tells you what I've done, but it doesn't actually tell you who I am. And when I talk about my confidence, when I need to show up confidently, like the person who I am when I'm at my most confident, it isn't this person at all with this list of achievements. I mean, I'm very proud of the things that I've achieved, but they don't tell you who I am. Who I am and where my confidence comes from is the fact that I have been an imposter my whole life. I grew up on a council estate in Birmingham, and even there in my family, where typically people were dropping out of school, there was lots of run-ins with the police. We grew up on a very poor estate, and as kids, we were left on our own a lot. Even there, I was the one in the books, and people thought I was weird and laughed at me. I was the odd one, the different, the only one who had all these aspirations for knowledge and going further. At the age of 6, I went to an all-white school, and I was the only Black pupil. Again, the imposter I was never able to forget about it. Like my music teacher would call me Lady of the Jungle, and my white friends would say, Caroline, you're really nice for a Black person. So I was always aware of being the only one, of being the imposter. Me and my brother, we lived on our own in our teenage years. I was evicted from a council flat. And at the time, this was during my A levels. So I had to find a way. I stayed at friends' house, slept on sofas to get my grades that took me to Cambridge University. And I was the first in my family to go to university. Again, always the only one, slightly different. And at Cambridge, there were less than a handful of other Black pupils there. So I felt like an imposter there too. And then when I went on to Allen and Overy and Cleary Gottlieb, two of the world's biggest law firms, I was almost always the only person of color, the only Black woman for sure, in the room. So my whole life, my whole experience has been one of being the imposter, of being slightly other than, of not belonging. And yet, this is where I get my confidence. Most people think that confidence comes from all the list of things that you do. What I'm going to be sharing with you today is the power and the value in all of the things and in who you are. And that is where confidence comes from. And that's how confidence is built. And this understanding, this learning that I have had, understanding that confidence comes from inside me, that has been the reason why I have gone on to achieve the success I've achieved, and why I can keep setting bold, audacious goals and going into scenarios that might otherwise, and actually often do, trigger my imposter syndrome. But I know how to overcome it. I know how to overcome it and show up to my potential. And this is what I want for you too. And I'm going to share with you in this session. So here's what's coming up over the next, I've allowed, and I recommend allowing 90 minutes for this session today. I know not all of you will have 90 minutes. I want you to stay as long as you possibly can, because we are going to fill every single minute with value, with engagement, and with everything you get today is going to be useful and practical for you to take away. So here's what's coming up and how I'm going to divide the time. I'm going to talk about imposter syndrome, and I mean that in the broadest sense. You may never have heard of it. You may think you have it. You may think you don't have it. Wherever you are, whatever your relationship with imposter syndrome, I want you to pay really close attention to how I talk about it, because what I'm doing is I want to give you this awareness of where you are in your confidence journey, how it's showing up for you in your work, how it's holding you back, and how imposter syndrome is coming into play there. So we're going to start there. Then I'm going to ask you, I want to engage with you about what confidence means. Confidence to you might mean something different to what it means to me. So let's talk about that. It's a crucial part of the process of being confident, is actually to start by knowing what you mean by confident and what it is that you want. Then I'm going to tell you exactly how to be confident. I'm going to tell you how to get started today, and we're going to have a juicy Q&A at the end. So as questions occur to you, as we're going through, if anything doesn't make sense, if there's anything you want me to repeat or you want me to go into a bit deeper, please ask questions. It's why I'm here. It's why I've made this session 90 minutes long. I'm going to answer all of your questions. I don't want anybody leaving this session unsure about the message I'm delivering today, and most importantly, how you can apply it and start this work to being more confident, which is what we all want. Okay, a few tips. Please get what you came for today. It's a big deal that you're here with me, spending this time. There's so many other things that I know you could be doing, but you're here today. And actually, that's not because of me. It's because of you. It's because of what you saw as being on offer in this webinar and what you hope to get out of it. So I want you to just decide right now, you are going to get everything you need from this webinar. I want to invite you to be present. I want to invite you to engage, ask me any questions, and you will get exactly what you came for. I promise you. All right, so let's talk about where you are on your confidence or self-doubt journey. Now, where it first appears in our experience of the world is in our thoughts. Are you someone, and again, share with me on the chat, are you someone who goes around thinking you're an imposter? So by way of example, and this is what I call classic imposter syndrome, it's when you have thoughts like, I'm a fraud. I don't deserve to be here. My success is down to luck. Any minute now, I'm going to be found out. This was my experience the whole way through school, the whole way through university, for years as a junior lawyer. I'm going to be found out. I'm here completely by luck. So if that resonates with you, tell me in the chat if that resonates. Yes, exactly. This is classic imposter syndrome. And I want you to understand and identify and have that awareness this is in my thoughts. These are thoughts that I have about myself, and they are showing up. And then what happens is those thoughts, what they do is they then, actually, before I tell you what those thoughts do, I want to talk to you about the flip side. I almost forgot this bit and it's so important. The other side of imposter syndrome is where you're not carrying around those thoughts that you're a fraud, thoughts that you're an imposter, but You work in an environment that makes you feel like one. So I speak to a lot of you about this idea of like feeling like a fraud and that your success is down to luck. And you tell me quite rightly, quite truthfully, Caroline, I know how hard I worked to get here. I don't think I'm a fraud. I know it wasn't down to luck, so I can't have imposter syndrome. But what I want to offer is if you are, for example, a Black lawyer and you're working in a white corporate environment, or if you are in any minority group, you feel like the only one and your environment, the majority around you, feels very different. They are very different. Then that can make you feel like an imposter, even though you know you're not one. And the impact, and this is what's important, the impact is the same. Whether it's your thoughts, like coming internally from you, that you think you shouldn't be here or your success is down to luck, or the experience you have because you're the only one and you look around, there's no one who looks like you, or the experience you have as a result of them not including you, the experience you have because you feel you can't be your true self because it doesn't feel safe, and the microaggressions and the racism that you may be exposed or even subjected to. All of this makes you feel like an imposter, even when you know you aren't one. So I want to just you to just let that sink in, that experience, like the different ways you can experience imposter syndrome. It really isn't just a question of those thoughts that you have about yourself. It's about how you feel in an environment. Yeah, I'm seeing you sharing with me now more about how imposter syndrome is coming up. My imposter syndrome is that I would feel or say to myself, do I actually add value? How did I get here? Do I belong? Oh, yes, that resonates so much. I hear that all the time. Yeah, knowing I am capable, but being made to feel like an imposter. Exactly. Exactly. I'm so glad you shared that, like you're in the right place. So we have this awareness then of some form of imposter syndrome. It might be environmental or it might be internal or that classic. And the problem is, it feels, I'm in the way of my own slides there, it feels terrible. You feel what? Not enough? You feel less than, that you don't belong? How do you feel? Share with me, what are the feelings that come up? Am I covering them for you? You feel like vulnerable, unsafe? Yeah, exactly. The feeling. And I want you to, now that I've outlined that sort of top line identifier for your imposter syndrome, connect to how it feels. It's going to be really important, the awareness you build around how it feels when you think a certain thing. So how it feels when you think, my success is down to luck. How it feels when you think places like this don't want people like me. Yeah. How it feels when you think I'm the only one. It feels terrible. Yeah, you feel like isolated, disconnected. So right. That's exactly how I felt. This was my experience too. And then what happens is that feeling, it shows up in your work. A lot of people say to me, oh, I don't think I have imposter syndrome, and I'm not really sure I have those feelings. But then when I ask them, okay, how do you approach your work? How would you describe it? And I like go through and ask them examples of their approach and what they do in the office and how they show up. And this is what comes up. You overwork, meaning that like attachment to perfection. You feel like you have to work twice as hard and nothing less will do. It has to be twice as hard. You obsess over every detail. I mean, I'm a lawyer, I know, and like we're paid to be detailed focused, but there comes a point where you are just laboring over the smallest thing, excessively checking your work, doing it 3 times, 4 times as much as, for example, with my clients, your white peers, right? So you overwork. And then there's the overthinking. I see one of you mentioned, oh yeah, you talk about second guessing, like how you always second guess yourself. This is a form of overthinking. Oh, did I do that right? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I wasn't articulate enough. Oh, I didn't know enough. Also, the worry of not knowing enough, the worry of being asked something that you won't know the answer to. A lot of time when you've got a task in front of you, and what you really need to be doing is getting on with the task, getting on with the job, but what you're doing is you're in your own head worrying about it, thinking, I don't know enough, I'm not going to be able to do a good job. Procrastinating. That's a form of overthinking. Yeah. And then there's playing small. This is my way of describing all the things you do to hide yourself, hide your talent. So you work really hard. You have got the work ethic, but you're doing it all in the background. Everybody else is in the spotlight. Other people may be taking credit for your work. You're not out there showcasing your value. You're not out there being visible because it feels safer to just have your head down and be doing the work. This comes from those feelings of feeling isolated, that you don't belong. It comes from your imposter syndrome. These are all symptoms. Okay. And then the fourth category I sort of use, these are like four, if you think of these as four categories or behavioral types. And the reason why I've synthesized them down, all those behaviors into four, is to make it really easy for you now, from now on. You will be able to identify, catch yourself in any given moment, like, oh, I'm overworking. Ah, this is me playing small. I remember that's when I'm hiding and I don't want to be like, put myself forward for anything. Ah, that's playing small. Or this is me overthinking. Like this way, your brain has a really clear understanding of how you're showing up and how imposter syndrome is holding you back, right? And I'll come to how it holds you back in a moment. And then finally, of the four, it's self-sabotage. I talk about these, by the way. I call them the four horsemen, these four behavioral types, because there's this sort of, it's actually, I think, a biblical reference to the four horsemen. But the point I want you to take away is if you continue doing these things, what they will lead to is your gradual, like for sure, falling out of love with your work, your disillusionment with your work, your disappointment with yourself, and most importantly, you not fulfilling your potential in the office. So these four behavioral types, we want to understand why they're there, what you're doing, like what it is they are, so you can identify them, have an understanding of why you're doing them, and then, of course, what to do differently to change them, which is what I'm going to teach you today. So the self-sabotage then, for completeness, so all the things you do to undermine yourself. When you tell yourself you did a terrible job, when you beat yourself up over something you failed at or a mistake you made years ago, when you obsess over a piece of negative feedback, you make it mean something about you. Like that is self-sabotage, what you're doing to yourself, undermining yourself every time you try. And like, let's say you go for a new goal and you don't make it, like talking negatively to yourself. You shouldn't have done that. You see, I knew you weren't capable. Okay, these are the behavioral types I want you to look out for. I want you to be onto yourself when you do them, because the consequences of you continuing to do that, your well-being suffers. Lawyering, I use lawyering as the classic example because so many of my clients are lawyers. Lawyering is hard. If you're not a lawyer and you're on this webinar, whatever it is you're doing, if your way of showing up is to overwork, overthink, play small, and self-sabotage, it is hard. It is certainly so much harder than it needs to be. You feel and you get left behind. So other people are overtaking you. People no more qualified than you, but they're the ones getting the better work allocation. They're the ones getting promoted. And your confidence never grows. Never grows when in that, like, caught in that series of like showing up like that, your confidence can't grow, right? When you're overworking, overthinking all the time, all of which means your potential goes unfulfilled. The word behind me is potential. Now we want to change that, and I'm going to tell you exactly how. But before I do, this is so important. Nothing has gone wrong. If this is where you are, nothing has gone wrong. You are not alone. And no, it's not something that's wrong with you. I feel it's really important to just state that explicitly out loud. When I was in the depths of really suffering from my imposter syndrome, feeling that I didn't belong, feeling isolated, overworking, thinking everything I have to do work twice as hard, show up twice as much, I thought there was something wrong with me, because this is what happens, isn't it? We look out at everybody else and it feels like everybody else has got it figured out. Everybody else is able to do the things like show up more confidently. Everyone else is able to speak up in meetings. Everybody else is able to like go for things. Like, what's it like when a colleague, you see them put their hand up for, or go for a job or go for an opportunity, and you know, they don't even know what they're doing. They haven't even got the qualification. And there you are thinking, oh, I need to be 100% qualified before I do it. If that's you, all of those behaviors I just described, I see them everywhere. Nothing's gone wrong. It's just the product of you being aware, self-conscious of your difference in your environment. And even if that difference, the awareness of it comes from your environment, the way they treat you, it's still an awareness of self-consciousness. That's all it is. So of course you feel like an imposter. Of course you want to protect yourself by overworking and overthinking. So it's not you. Nothing's gone wrong. And you most definitely are not alone. All right. So now, oh yes, before we do, I wanted to just focus on this. So stuck in the diagnosis, I put this in at the last minute, which is why I wasn't expecting it. I wanted to say, really draw your attention to the fact that what I've just talked about, if we allow for, I've just talked to where you are. So your experience right now with imposter syndrome, your relationship with confidence or the lack thereof. What I've done is I've talked through it in a way that's really clear and easy for you to understand. Now, bear with me. I haven't done that because I don't think you can understand complexity. I know you can. There's enough complexity in the world, in your job. I know you can do hard things and understand complexity. The point is that I see people getting stuck in the diagnosis of like what's going on with me. I see them getting stuck there for years. Have I got imposter syndrome or is it just self-doubt? Why do I have imposter syndrome? What actually is it? Where does it come from? Like 4 years, you can just be in the problem, right? In the struggle of like, what is it and why is it? And so what I wanted to do there is everything I've just talked you through honestly tells you everything you need to know about your imposter syndrome. It tells you how the thoughts show up. It tells you that it comes either internally or it comes from your environment. It tells you about the feelings. It tells you how you're showing up in your work, and it tells you how if you keep showing up like that, what the outcome will be in terms of your well-being and your potential at work. That, I promise you, is all you need to understand so that now we can, like, we understand that. Let's get on with moving towards a solution. Let's move you out of this stagnant place of, oh, I'm just not confident enough. Let's move you on. Now you've got that understanding. You're free to move on to what I'm going to open and offer to you next. All right. So now I want you to talk to me. I want you to give yourself 60 seconds to answer this question. What would more confidence mean to me? Have you thought about that? What would it actually mean to be more confident? I invite you to go to the place where you are confident and imagine what you're doing. And if you get stuck, ask yourself, why do I want more confidence? What's the reason behind it? So for me, there were two clear things. I wanted more confidence, and let me know if this resonates with you, and just add to the chat, like if other things come up, like why you want more confidence. For me, I wanted two things. I wanted to be able to do my day job without feeling so terrible so much of the time. I was able to do my day job, but it just felt so awful because I was so anxious and stressed and worried. Like it just required so much of me to show up to my work. I showed up, but it took so much out of me because I was just always stressed and worried. And I just thought, oh, if I was confident, I'd be able to do my day job without all this stress and worry. Like confidence just feels so much nicer in your body than worry and anxiety does. So I wanted that. I wanted to be able to show up without all of those negative emotions. And I knew that if I could like let go of those negative emotions because of how much it required of me to manage them, I knew I'd therefore be able to be better at my job because I wouldn't be stuck in my own head worrying about things all the time. I wouldn't be overthinking. I wouldn't be doing all that overworking, all the extra work that no one actually valued in the end, right? The extra stuff. I could actually put all of that energy that I would have into getting better and better and really being like the subject matter expert and really like being the one with the easy access to the knowledge and the references and the examples. Like I knew that if I had confidence, I could also go further. Yeah, show up unapologetically. Exactly. Like, how good would that feel to just be able to show up and not be sort of slightly apologizing for who you are or who you think you are? And then the other thing for me was I thought, okay, if I had confidence, not only would I feel better, like lawyering would be easier, I'd be happier, not only would I be better at it, but then I could progress further too. Because there's this whole series of things: being visible, showcasing your value, building those relationships that lead to mentors and sponsors and getting really good work allocation, being able to receive negative feedback and use it to improve and grow, having my brand, putting my brand out there, like all of those activities, not your day job, but really essential if you're going to progress. Like, you need confidence for those. You need confidence to be visible. So I thought, oh gosh, if I was confident, that would be the other thing. I'll be able to progress. Those three things. So yeah, showing up unapologetically. Um, One of you talked about getting defensive when you get feedback. Yeah, exactly. You'd be able to have feedback without feeling defensive. You'd just be able to look at it, take the bits you wanted to change, like you agreed with, leave the bits you didn't. Like, how nice would that feel? What a difference that would make. And I want to offer you that what I'm sharing today is how I have made all of that a reality for me. It's how I've stopped making my day-to-day experience of doing my job and progressing my career so much more enjoyable and fulfilling. It's how I've managed to really hone my expertise in what I do. And it is absolutely how I keep progressing day after day after day, year after year. I want to add, it's not how I've got rid of imposter syndrome. I want to make it absolutely clear that what I'm teaching you today is not how to get rid of imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, it's part of the human condition. You put anybody in an environment where they are the only one, they feel alone, or they are like separate or different to those around, they will have an experience of being an imposter. It's that experience has never been the problem. The problem has only ever been not having the tool and not knowing what to do to overcome it when it is triggered, when it happens. And so that's what I learned. That is how I went from being that person who, yes, did their job like well enough to achieve a reasonable level of success, but always anxious, always holding myself back, to where I am now, like setting the boldest, most ambitious goals, able to, every time something happens to trigger my imposter syndrome, I know exactly how to overcome it, and I can overcome it in the moment. I just have the tool, I've had the process, what I'm going to share with you, but I have that. I know what to do every time. I was at a networking event, so this is a classic example of how it sometimes comes up, right? Where I walked in. It was a really big, amazing, beautiful event at the Royal Academy in London on Wednesday night. And this was an event, it was a retirement event for a very prestigious, very senior lawyer who's retiring. And the room was, I mean, I'm not gonna like beat around the bush. I walked into the room. First of all, it's in this incredible, beautiful gallery, which like reeks of history and institution and just like a whole culture that I was never ever exposed to when I was growing up. Secondly, the room was absolutely jam-packed with, I think I saw, no, I saw two other Black people in the whole room. I think there were 400 people in that room at least. It was a big room. And by the way, I did not know if anybody I knew or had ever met was going to be there. So I went there on my own, right? So I went to this event. I walked in. I noticed the sea of white faces. And my brain offered me the memory of a time when that used to trigger my imposter syndrome, and I would find it very difficult. I'd feel very self-conscious, wouldn't know, wouldn't be able to go up and talk to people, would feel like I couldn't be there. My brain took me to the memory of it because it's not where my brain goes anymore as a result of what I'm going to teach you today. I could walk into that room. I connected with everyone I spoke to. I went up and just joined conversations with people I'd never met before. I had a fantastic evening. Now, I know this is something so many of you struggle with, going to an event, feeling that you don't fit in, there's no one like you. What I'm going to teach you is exactly how you overcome that. All right, so I've got you and been enticing you with what's coming. So another one of you said, achieving what I want without feeling like I need someone to give me value. Oh, that's so good. Achieving what you want without needing somebody else to give you value or tell you you're valuable. How wonderful would that feel? That external validation, so many of you are relying on that to feel not even confident, but just to feel that you might be enough. Yeah, relying on things outside of you. And here's what I want to offer is that the answer to your confidence, it's not out there. It's not with the boss that maybe supports you. It's not with your colleagues who tell you, you're good at what you do. It's not with your mum who thinks you're amazing or your dad who says you're the best thing. It's not even with the things you've achieved, the things in your profile on social media. Your confidence comes from one place only. It comes from inside of you. And all you have to do to access it is remember who you are. Just remember who you are. When was the last time that you took a moment to deeply connect with you, with the you that has come this far, with the you that have made decisions all along the way to go after your goals, to achieve them, to get back up when you failed? When was the last time you connected with the you that had all those successes even years and years ago? When was the last time you connected with the you that had a dream of where they want to go and what they thought was possible? That you. When did you last remember that you? The version of you that's capable of anything you set your mind to. All you have to do to be confident is remember who you are. It really is that simple. Now, I know that's why I'm giving you lots of time to really sit with it, want this to land. Share with me what's coming up for you as I say this. The more you connect with what's inside of you, and by what's inside of you, I mean the experiences, the knowledge also, but everything that you have experienced along the way to where you are now that has shaped who you are, that person, this is the person I want you to connect to. And when you remember that person, you'll see that it's the one that is capable of anything. I'm trying not to be upset that I'm sitting in front of my slides here. The you that is capable of anything you set your mind to. That's you. Remember that one? The one who is qualified in not just one jurisdiction, but in two jurisdictions. The one who qualified in another country and then uprooted yourself, traveled to a completely different country, a different continent, and built a legal career somewhere else in a foreign language, for example. Like the version of you, the one who's capable of anything you set your mind to, that created the success you have now, even if you don't see it as success. The version of you that will not take no for an answer, that's willing to apply 50 times for a job, right? To keep going until they get that yes. That version of you, the version of you who 10 years ago you couldn't imagine being, but you are now. Remember who you are, and it will connect you to the version, the person inside you who is capable of anything. I invite you to connect to that person now. Where are they? Where did they go? I know I had lost that person. I got so caught up in all of the things that I thought I wasn't, who I'm not. I completely forgot about who I am. And I tried so many different ways to build confidence and to overcome imposter syndrome. I tried all these different ways, and it's just so interesting how none of them worked except that one, remembering who I am. This creates confidence. You remember who you are at a thinking level. It creates and fuels confidence in you. I talk about confidence in who you are. It's so different to confidence in what you do. Confidence in what you do is like this one particular scenario. It's like, oh, I can be confident with this one thing. I've just picked up my phone, it happened to be there. But then you go and do another thing, you're not confident anymore. Or you go and work at another level, you're not confident anymore. What we want is confidence in who you are and what that is going to mean. You won't need to overwork anymore. You will stop overthinking because you're so self-sufficient and confident in who you are. You won't need that to prove that, to go that extra mile to prove yourself or to worry about all of the things that could go wrong. Another thing that will happen when you remember who you are and it connects you to the version of you, the person in you who's capable of anything, you are going to start having your own back. You know, I used to say the meanest things to myself. I used to be so judgmental of myself. If I made a mistake, I'd be so frustrated and annoyed. Now, you should hear the way I talk to myself when I make a mistake. I, for a start, remind me it's just a mistake. I'll learn the lesson. And then my brain goes to all the things I did do right, and I pat myself on the back. I'm compassionate with myself. I can see the things I'm doing well, even if alongside them, there are things I'm failing at all the time. And I promise you, there are things I'm failing at all the time. But I never beat myself up. I never talk down to myself. I never judge myself. I never even say I should have done something differently. I have so much compassion for myself as a human. I have so much trust in myself being able to learn from my mistakes. And I know that the best way for me to be like who I can be in the world is to have my own back, be on my own side. And you know what? Having your own back is one of those things which the more you do it and the better you are at having like supporting yourself, that's kind of what it is, believing in yourself, the easier other people will find it to do too. Yeah. So you will have the confidence to have your own back and, of course, show up to your potential. Yeah. And like showing up unapologetically. Did you know it was this simple? Remember who you are. That will connect you to the you that's capable of anything you set your mind to. That will create the feeling of confidence. That will make you confident in who you are. And as a result of that feeling, that confidence in who you are, how you show up will be so different. This will all change. Now, contrast this to what I know that so many of you have tried. I've tried this, but I see as the most common mistakes when it comes to trying to build confidence. It's, I'll fake it till I make it. Yeah. The problem with faking it till you make it, and I've tried this before and sometimes it works, but the problem is you're going in and you're doing the action. You're faking and you're doing. And I always say faking it till you make it. Oh, look at the octopus. It's like a crown around my head. What the faking it till you make it does is I think it builds confidence in who you're not, in the person who can fake it. Like, I don't want you to have confidence in who you're not, in the person who can pretend to be something else. I want you to know that you are already enough. You are already capable. You already are capable of everything. anything you set your mind to. I want you building confidence in that there, because that confidence is inside of you. Faking it is showing up outside of you without any connection to who you are at all. You literally, when you fake it, it's like you are pretending that all of your years of experience and growth and knowledge and everything that shaped you, pretending that doesn't exist and going out and faking. And actually, I'm not judging faking it till you make it as a solution, because I used it and it used to work. It's more that for me, it wasn't enough, because faking it is exhausting. Yeah. Because if your thoughts are still like, I don't deserve to be here, and they don't want me, and places like this, and I'm not enough. If you have then the feelings, those terrible feelings of anxiousness and worry and not enoughness and not belonging, faking it is really exhausting from that place. And what I'm offering you is a way of building confidence in you and who you are that makes showing up to your potential feel natural, feel authentic, be something you want to do, you're excited to do, not you're forcing yourself to do. There's a world of difference. I worked hard to get here. I mean, useful. There's value in that. It does a little bit reflect, it's slightly a reflection on how you got here, and that's useful and relevant. And it's what I include as one of the things you want to remember about yourself. But it's not enough on your own. I worked hard to get here. I mean, yeah, does that inspire you with confidence? That never filled me with confidence at all. I worked hard to get here, if anything, and I hear this sometimes. I would use that against myself. Oh, I had to work really hard to get here. Everyone else just got here really easily. So that didn't work for me either. And then external validation, we've talked about that. Needing other people to validate you. It's great if everybody wakes up and their first job, their first priority is to validate you. If everyone thought it was their job, their responsibility, and they wanted to do it, then it would work a lot more often. But actually, everybody's got their own stuff going on. And you know what? The more senior you get, the fewer people will be there with either the time and energy to validate you, wanting to validate you, or thinking that they need to validate you. Like, it doesn't happen at a senior level. So the quicker we can wean ourselves off external validation and we can validate ourselves, and remembering who you are and connecting to the version of you that's capable of anything you set your mind to, this is how you validate yourself. You build your own confidence. So use those strategies if you like, if they work for you, but don't use them at the expense of building real confidence in who you are, because confidence that comes from inside of you is confidence that lasts. It's inside of you. So this is what I want to offer as the takeaway for how to be confident, how it practically works. If something happens to trigger your imposter syndrome, somebody says something, or you walk into a room, there's no one else who looks like you, or you're just sitting there, you're waking up and you're having a day when you're full of self-doubt. The first thing is to be aware, and I've talked you through that, right? I've talked you through all those symptoms, so now you know you can be onto yourself. So that awareness, okay, I am doubting myself. My imposter syndrome has been triggered. Yeah, I have all these thoughts, or I'm doing all these actions, and I know where they're leading. I don't want to be showing up like this anymore. So the first step when you want to be confident, just remember who you are. Remember who you are and connect to the version of you, the you that is capable of anything you set your mind to. That person is in you. If it helps, I like to think of that version of me as like a pilot light that never goes out. And how you know it's there is it feels painful that you're not fulfilling your potential. It feels painful that you're not going after goals or seeking out opportunities. Like, it feels painful that you're not fulfilling your potential. So that's how you know that pilot light is there. And even if you don't feel it, I know you have it in you because you are on this session watching this. I know you have it in you because of where you have got to today and everything that it has taken to get here. So when I say connect with the version of you that is capable of anything you set your mind to, it's the pilot light. All we're doing here is we are taking, like, I want to say we're taking ownership of our own confidence. It's like, I'm going to connect to that fire inside of me. Yeah. And the you that's capable of anything feels completely different when they show up to work, feels completely different and can get to work. When I was writing Be the First, I got really stuck. I got really caught up in an imposter syndrome spiral. How ironic. I was writing about imposter syndrome in people of color. And I got in my head that my community, so the Black community, will judge me. They will think I'm not Black enough, that I don't know enough, that I haven't had enough of the right experience. I mean, my brain just went to town. And it's amazing. So my imposter syndrome was triggered. All of those things were signs, right? But I caught them because of this, because I have this process. I caught them and I was able to connect with the me that is capable of anything I set my mind to. And in that connection, that confidence, my brain then, like, I went to work because my brain then offered, oh my gosh, these are all the reasons, everything that I am. This is why I'm the one to write this book. This is why my community need to hear from me. I'm the one they need. Now it can feel, and so I got to work, right? That's the final bit of the process, very important. I don't just connect to the version of you that's really capable, then get to work as that person. Use the confidence that that person has to fuel your actions and your work, okay? Now stay with me because I know exactly what's coming up. You are going to have some version of a thought in your brain that says, yeah, but I'm like, I don't have that person inside me that is, say, capable of anything I set my mind to, or I'm not extraordinary or special in that way. And I want to say, yes, you are. You absolutely 100% are extraordinary. There's no one like you. No one has had your life experience been shaped and formed the way you have, has shown up to your life the way you have, keeps getting up day after day and doing what you do with the knowledge, with the circumstances, with the thinking and the brain that you have. You are one of a kind. There is no one like you. You are extraordinary. You are special. And if you do not believe that, if you do not feel that, it's because you have forgotten. We lose ourselves, don't we, in these big corporate environments, in offices. You know, those of you who talk to, like, when I'm at home, I don't feel underconfident. It's only in the workplace I feel different and I doubt myself. Yeah, those circumstances can feel really big and we forget. We lose ourselves. And that's why the only answer, like, even if you are questioning right now whether this will work for you, I promise you, this process works. The process of, like, remembering who you are, I'm going to talk you through practically how you do that in a moment. It works and it will reveal to you exactly how extraordinary you are and how capable you are. And the weird thing is, jumping ahead to my slides, the weird thing is, it's going to amaze you and feel so new and refreshing to feel confident and to feel that capable. But at the same time, you're going to recognize that feeling. You're going to recognize that person. It's going to feel like coming home. I can't tell you how many of my clients have said to me and described to me, I've found myself again. It almost makes me want to tear up to see you find yourself again, to see you be able to let go of it's like a fear, isn't it? That's one way of describing how it feels to doubt yourself, to see you let go of that and be like, I am capable. I'm capable of anything I set my mind to. That's the you we want to bring out. That's the you. When you remember who you are, it's that person. That's who you are. I'm so excited to help you access that. So let's get really practical. We're here to not just learn the concepts, but to do them, implement them today. Okay? You're going to need two skills. I've called them mining the gold, and the second one is managing your mind. The skills you're going to need is the ability. So when I say remember who you are, like it's quite possible you're thinking, okay, well, Caroline, what do you mean by that? Okay, it makes sense. Connect to that version who's capable of anything. Okay, but how do I do that? So you'll need the skill of actually investigating, like mining the gold of who you are. Because right now, the way you see yourself, you're not showing up like that every single day. You're not going into the office going, I am capable of everything I set my mind to. Right, what's coming up? I'll do this. I'm going to seize this opportunity. I will speak up in this meeting. Like, you're not doing that right now. I'm making a very, very educated guess that that's like, this is why you're here, because you're not doing that right now. So, right now, you don't have the skill of seeing the gold that is within you. You don't have the skill of identifying, really, of finding that person who is capable of anything you set your mind to. And the way you connect and you find that person is by mining the gold of your experience, your life. And mining the gold, going looking like, what is it about you? Like, who are you? It is a skill to be able to investigate that, be curious about that, and find the gold that, like, you are sitting on a mountain of gold in terms of what you're capable of, and yet you don't see it and you leave it behind every single day. So, skill number one is the ability to be able to look at your life and find the gold in who you are that creates confidence in you for you to go out into the world and do your thing and fulfill your potential. So, mining the gold. The second skill you need is the skill of managing your mind when you come into contact with the outside world. And what I mean by that is when you go into the office and you find out a colleague's been promoted ahead of you, and your brain wants to go to all those imposter syndrome thoughts of either places like this, don't want people like me, or I'm not good enough, they're much better than me, all those thoughts. There's so many of them, aren't there, that our brain would offer us in an example like that. Or when you're going to speak up in a meeting, when you get asked a question by a client and you are just like, I don't know the answer, I'm saying it wrong, I can't articulate this, I can't speak up. So when you come into contact with the outside world, it's all very well mining the gold and remembering who you are and feeling capable. Yeah, we can do that internally, can't we? But then when you go out into the world, what you need is the skill of managing your mind when your brain wants to offer you all of those imposter syndrome thoughts. And what that managing your mind is simply is you catch the thoughts. I gave you the example, didn't I, when I was writing Be the First, and the thoughts I was having about no one wants to read this, my community is going to judge me, they will think I'm not black enough. I mean, the thoughts our brain offers us when we are not paying attention, right? But now you've got this awareness. So the second skill is being able to catch those thoughts, okay? And the emotions that those thoughts create, like be able to, like, we acknowledge them, we process them, but then take yourself to the person who is capable of anything. It is the reminding yourself you are capable of everything, anything you set your mind to. It's the remembering who you are in the moment that you need to show up confidently and get to work. So that is a skill too. The skill of finding the gold, and then the skill of being able to connect to the gold and use it, be confident in the day job, in front of every task. Okay? So what I want you to take away then, just to, because I've covered a lot and I've thrown a lot at you, remember who you are is always the solution. That's it. Remember who I am. I just need to connect to the me who is capable of anything I set my mind to. This is what you do. Okay? This is how you access confidence, connect to confidence in who you are. And then what you do is you go out in the real world, you connect to that person and you get to work. And what will happen is every time you do that, your confidence is going to grow even more. And this is just something that will just keep happening. You will have the ability to connect to that version of you, and that will help you show up to your work confidently, differently, confident in who you are. And the result that comes from you showing up as that version of you, so different to the result that you get right now, showing up as the version of you that feels less than and not enough. When you're connected to the capable version of you and you show up from that place, how you approach your work, how you speak to other people, how you introduce yourself, how you walk around the room as the one who's capable of anything you set your mind to, the results that you will create will be completely different. Your confidence will compound. You will enjoy setting ambitious goals. You will be able to go into bigger rooms. And if you're a black lawyer or a black and white world, those rooms will just get whiter and whiter, and that will not intimidate you. It will delight you. It will appeal to you. I find it a thrill to put myself in rooms where I stand out, where I am the imposter, because I have these skills, and these skills can work for you too. Okay? So the practical work I want you to do in order to build confidence, to be confident, is you mine the gold of who you are and your experience and your life. You take all of the gold from that. You connect to the version of you that's capable of anything you set your mind to, and then you get to work. You manage your mind and you get to work. Okay. It's going to give you all the confidence you need because it's a skill, right? You've got the core belief in who you are, and then you've got the skills. So whatever situation you encounter, you will be able to access this confidence. All right. So now let's talk about that. Kind of concludes the teaching part of this session. Now I am just so excited to talk to you about Confident Black Lawyers. So this is my new online program. It is for Black lawyers, and I've designed it to basically create a really simple process, make it so easy and off the shelf process for you. You can just get hold of it and you can just work your way through it in your own time. And it does exactly what I have shared with you today to give you the confidence to succeed. And I use the word succeed really generally. It is literally to give you the confidence to do whatever confidence means for you, to be whoever you want to be on the other side of feeling confident. So those two skills, mining the gold, managing your mind, I make all of it really simple, really doable, and really practical for you in this program. So I want to spend just a few minutes before we go to questions telling you about the program, how it's set up, what you get. I want to offer you the opportunity to join. It is open today, so you will be able to join today. And even if you're not a Black lawyer, I want to encourage you to stay on. Firstly, because I want to hear your questions. I want to hear how you would apply what I've taught you today to your real life. But also because how the program is set up will also support you in the skill building of mining the gold and managing your mind. Okay, so you're going to find this really useful. So it's called Confident Black Lawyers. This has been the product of at least 2 years of me pulling together, well, first of all, synthesizing exactly how have I got myself here? How did I get from being that really quite anxious, very self-conscious young lawyer, student to where I am now, able to dial my confidence up and down whenever I need it, able to access that and connect to the version of me that's capable of anything I set my mind to and really believe that. How did I get here where I love setting ambitious goals? And I know they're going to trigger my imposter syndrome, but I don't mind because I know exactly how to overcome it. And I asked myself that question and I literally broke it down into a process that I could teach you because this transformation I want everybody to have. I can see how it's possible for you too. And I want to make it as easy and as simple and literally give you the exact steps so you can do this. Literally, I walk you on this journey yourself. Okay, so here's how it looks. Here's what you will learn. So step one, you will mine the gold. This is what you will do on this program. You will mine the gold with the confidence building process. Now you can see little hints of what's inside of it. There are 5 different sections, and those different sections build confidence. I like to think of confidence building, and I like the word build, as you are just creating all of these bricks. There are all these bricks that you are putting together, right? So the mining the gold is you find a nugget, like a brick of gold, right? And then you put it together with another nugget, and then you mine and you find another nugget and you put that together, and you're just compounding all of this gold into like this solid, this core confidence. Okay, so there are 5 different steps. Like this is like the process I walk you through. Yeah, where it's like I create confidence, help you see confidence in why you're here. That's one of the bricks. Confidence in where you're going is another brick. Confidence in your name, in your identity. That's another brick. Yeah. Confidence in how you got here. A lot of you are being held back by a story you're telling yourself about how you got here and the route you took and how it wasn't conventional and how that was less than, and you weren't good enough to go this route and you ended up down this route. And you're using that to undermine yourself. I'm like, no, do not undermine yourself with this, like what you know about your journey to get here. That should fuel your confidence. There is so much gold in that experience. You took the road less traveled. Do you know how valuable that is? So that's one example of how I walk you step by step through a process of mining the gold of who you are, of what your life has been to this point, because that's where your confidence lies. And I walk you through it step by step. And then there's the second step. I help you create your imposter speech. Why is it called the imposter speech? Because it's what you say to yourself to manage your mind in the moment when your imposter syndrome is triggered. Yeah. In this program, we co-create it together. I walk you through the steps of creating it. And when you've created it, you send it to me and I give you feedback on it. And it becomes this thing, this beautiful speech that we create, right? You memorize it. It's not very long. And literally it becomes like this thing in your brain. The way I think about it for myself, it's like I always do this like action of as if I'm taking it out of my pocket. I feel like I have it on me. I have it on me all the time. And that's why this works. Even when you're going into a meeting, you've been called into at the last minute, you didn't have time to prepare, you don't know what's going to come up. Get your imposter speech out. I love to say it to myself in the mirror, right? Say it out loud. I love to say to it myself when I'm out on a walk. I love to say it as part of my preparation for something, and I have it in my head. I play it on repeat in my head as I'm going into a situation. I don't know what I'm going to expect, and I'm worried like my imposter syndrome might be triggered or I might doubt myself. Okay? There's a question here. Are you saying to leave out the unconventional start you may have had? To leave out, no. Don't leave out the unconventional start that you may have had. We want to mine the gold of it. Right now, your unconventional start feels like something like you use it against yourself. This is what I hear more and more. Oh, well, I didn't qualify as a lawyer the traditional route. And I see people feeling like that makes them less than, or thinking that makes them less than, not as qualified or not knowing enough. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you know what that says about you, that you qualified the unconventional route? There is so much gold in there. So do not leave that behind. Take it, mine the gold of it. And what we do when we mine the gold and realize the value in it, then what I do in step 2 is I help you make it makes it into your speech. It becomes part of your speech, the thing that you say to yourself when you're managing your mind at the moment when your doubt comes up or you're on the spot at work. I hope that's clear. We can talk more about that in the questions, which we'll come to shortly. Okay, so I wanted to give you a glimpse inside. I'm sorry, it's a little bit fuzzy on the screen, but it's clear enough for you to get an idea. It's a glimpse inside the program and what you get, because this program, it literally is you can join and your access to it is instantaneous. So as you can see, it's an online program. I've been wanting to create an online program for you for a long time because I know, for example, the way your schedule is, you need something that can just work to your schedule. I know that especially, and I really wanted something that would be as accessible to you at a junior level. So whatever level you are in your career, for a start, we are always going to need confidence. Like even at the most senior level, confidence is still key. It's still fundamental. But also at the very junior level, like there's a lot going on at the junior level. You're competing for roles or and I'm thinking of my lawyers now, right? Trying to get a training contract. If you get a training contract, you're trying to like get a permanent role. If you get the permanent role, then you're a junior lawyer and you're trying to figure it out because now everyone expects you to know what you're doing. And you're like, but I've just qualified. I still have no idea what I'm doing. I'm still lacking in confidence. Or maybe you're a paralegal. It feels like you're on the sidelines. You're trying to get that training contract, trying to get in. Even if you're a student and you're aspiring to be a lawyer, for example, like the confidence to put yourself in, put yourself forward, go for interviews, fill out application forms. You want confidence to drive those activities to increase your chance of success. Yeah. So I wanted to create a program where you could follow a process that will build that for you. And we'll keep building that for you again and again and again at every level, where you could come back, you just can keep coming back to whenever you doubt, whenever you forget who you are, whenever you get lost. So this is what you can see is on screen. It's like imagining you're accessing this, let's say from a laptop, right? Or on your screen. You get this series of videos that you work through. I don't know if you can see my arrow, but the bottom left of the screen is an open up. That's like the different steps of the process. You click on them and you'll see a series of videos. Some of the videos are 3 minutes long. The longest video I think is 20 minutes long. Okay, it's a series of videos. You can watch them whenever you want at your own speed. It's a 6-month program. I recommend 6 months to really take what you learn, really ingrain it, internalize it, implement it, apply it, right? But if you want to, you can binge the whole lot in a matter of days if you really wanted to. That's how flexible and brilliant this program is, and why I know it's going to be so useful. It's going to change so many lives because you can literally be anywhere in the world and access this program, be building confidence in who you are. And you know what I love about this? What I love about this most of all, it's not even just that. And I say just inverted commas because this is a big thing. It's the thing. It's not even just that you build confidence in who you are and you have the confidence and you will always be able to overcome your imposter syndrome and keep progressing. Do those things like show up to your day job without all that anxiety and worry, get better at your day job, and then progress and show up unapologetically, right? Not only will it give you the confidence to do all of that, but the process you go through, I promise, it will change you. You will start to feel different about yourself. Your relationship with yourself will be different. That's why, I gave you the example of me. I never speak negatively to myself ever. I wouldn't dare. I would never treat myself like that. Like this is the relationship I have with myself now. I never used to. It's just an example how you will change, like how you will feel will change as a result of this program. And as you're going through, you'll start feeling it straight away. I promise you, literally in the first module, the first lesson of the first module will make you think differently. Okay, so this is an even closer glimpse inside. This is a screenshot of me in the middle of the video. Not sure what I'm in the middle of saying, but you can see I'm just in my office, but I'm talking you through every single step. Look, you've got the whole process there for how you remember who you are, how we mine the gold of your experience, the experiences that have shaped you. We mine the gold and then we create the imposter speech. So you can just see, so this on the right-hand side of the screen is a snapshot of me in the video, screen grab. And then on the left side, that's like an example of the dashboard, right, that you'll see. And you just literally, you can see it says there, like 1 out of 2 lessons complete for that section. You just click on like where it says welcome, you click on that, it will play the video, and then you can move on to the next one, which is how to use this program. So, and you can just dip in and out of those lessons, go back to them. It's just so, so good. Let me know if you have any questions on this, by the way, as I go through. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I just wanted you to get a sense of quite how like focused I have been on you getting the result of being confident. Let me say that again. It's not just a course for a course's sake. This is about the question I ask myself every step of the way is, yeah, but how does this make them more confident? Okay, how does this increase their confidence? Okay, what's stopping them from being confident? How do I get them past that? And so what I've done is I brought together all of these different elements to ensure that you get exactly what you came for. So you get the entire course, which is the process. You'll see that in the top left. You have downloadable worksheets, put those top right. Actual worksheets. If you're a worksheet person, you can download them. Okay, for each lesson. Not all the lessons have worksheets, but those where you can actually, I want you to do some proper thinking, and it's useful to get stuff down on paper or in a notebook. I've created all the worksheets formatted for you. There are going to be trainings added. You can dip in and out of that are very task specific. Yeah, live coaching. I am going to be going live coaching within this program 3 times a month. So you can come and have your questions answered and have me coach you on anywhere where you're getting stuck, or and have me coach you, or you hear other people being coached because it's the group coaching, and hear how people are implementing it. And a key part of that, therefore, is the community. You become part of the Confident Black Lawyers Club. I'm so excited about this community. So all of this is what you get in this 6-month program. So you learn how to be confident. You build the confidence to succeed, to do all of those things that confidence means for you. That's what this course gives you. I'm so excited to deliver it. So you get the course, you get the community, you get the coaching. Here's the cost. Ready? I know you can see on the screen. It's £600. All of that, how to be confident, I'm charging £600. This online program that includes a community, includes live coaching, includes, I didn't mention before, the private podcast of all of the live coaching sessions. So even if you can't make them, you get to listen to them. It includes all of that. And the whole thing for 6 months is £600. I told you, didn't I? I wanted to make this accessible. I want this to be something you can use, you can access, you can come back to again and again as a student, as a paralegal, as a trainee, as a junior lawyer, as whatever level you are at in your career and where you are. And of course, as a partner, as a senior lawyer, because confidence matters there too. This is how committed I am to building a movement of confident Black lawyers. And this is what I've created to help you get there. So I mentioned the community. It's called the Confident Black Lawyers Club. And the best thing about this is after your 6 months of being in the program, you can then choose to say you can subscribe to the Confident Black Lawyers Club, where you just get to stay and have access to all of those features, all the videos, all the materials, the whole process, the imposter speech, the whole practice, the private podcast, the coaching, what haven't I mentioned? The trainings. You can stay. You won't want to leave, and I don't want you to go, because as a community, we'll be supporting each other. So I'm very excited to also announce the Confident Black Lawyers Club, and you can only join this if you've done the program. So everyone in the club will be following this process, right? Where you remember who you are, you connect to the part of you that's capable of anything you set your mind to, and we're getting to work. That's what we're doing. All right. And that's a monthly subscription of £48. It's ridiculous. I know. After you've done the program, it's so good. I have so many people who say to me, how can I keep working with you? Or how can I work with you for less than your bigger, fuller program fee, like my coaching program fee that I do for mid to senior level lawyers? How can I work with you, but I don't have the budget for that? Or how can I work with you, but I'm not at that level yet? I'm not a mid to senior level lawyer. So you wouldn't be eligible for my Be the First room. Join the Confident Black Lawyers room. That's where you want to be at whatever stage of your career. This is where we're building confidence. And we're building the confidence, by the way, that supports you at that senior level, that you will continue to lead throughout your career. All right. So before we go to questions, I'm going to answer all of your questions. So start adding those questions right now. Here's what I'm also excited to announce. Now, I mentioned the workbooks and that you can just download them lesson by lesson. And these are fantastic, the workbooks. But if you're anything like me, I like to have something physical in my hand. And so what I decided to do, I was really excited to do that. I basically created the Confident Black Lawyers workbook, which is all of those worksheets, all downloaded, all bound together in the most beautiful workbook, which, if I do say so myself, looks amazing on your desk. I'm going to hold mine up. I've got some post-it notes in mine at the moment. I've been flicking through it. I use this, by the way. I'm using this all the time to access some of the lessons and the materials that I share in this program. So look at this. Isn't this just, well, you can't see, it's a little bit too bright, but you can kind of, holding it up here, get a sense of the workbook. Yeah, it's this beautiful spiral bound workbook in your hand physically that you get to have. And I'm offering it, it's not for sale. You don't get it as part of the program. You get the individual downloads as part of the program. This, I only offer it as a bonus at certain times. It's not just automatic. So I'm offering this if you have liked, like if you're a Black lawyer, that's the first thing. Although I have had requests to join it, even if you're not a Black lawyer. And if that is a question you have, then reach out to me because I have an answer for you you might find interesting. So this, if you want confidence in who you are, if you're ready to have a completely different relationship with imposter syndrome, which we know is going to come up at every level, if you want to reconnect with the version of you that is capable of anything, if you want to find yourself again and actually that be how you have the confidence to succeed, like how it doesn't get more authentic than that, does it? This process, it's the most authentic way to build confidence that I have ever experienced. And the best bit, it works. And I think it works because it's so authentic, because it comes from inside you. We're not making anything up. We're not faking it. We are just reconnecting, remembering ourselves again. So I'm offering this. So anyone who signs up within 48 hours of this webinar, not offering it to everybody, I will send you a free copy, a free bound, beautifully bound workbook. So you have one, just looks and feels wonderful on your desk. Okay. So there's a QR code here for anybody who would like to do that right now. It will literally take you through to the page where you can join the program immediately. So it's a payment page, you can put your details in, and the minute you submit it, it gives you access to the program. So you could literally, in 20 minutes, be starting to watch these videos. It's Friday, it's the weekend, almost the weekend, right? So you could literally start building confidence. In other words, working through the very practical step-by-step process, me walking you through it, walking you through what I've taught you today, but in a really practical way. You could be doing that this weekend. And so I always recommend that you go through this, I'm looking at the workbook now, I recommend that you go through it sequentially. That's always best. But what's brilliant is once you find your way around it, you're going to be able to flip it open. Like, for example, there's one section here called the Success Catalog, about cataloging your successes in one place. Like, when have you done that? When do we do this? Like, have a catalog of our successes that we could just pick up and reference. So like one day you might want to dip into that. Another day you might want to dip into the lesson about like how to specialize your name, like your common name. So if you have someone who has a name that you just think is run of the mill and you don't particularly feel that you're unique, let's say your name is, I don't know, for some reason, John Adams came to mind. I don't know why. But let's say you've got a kind of really common name and you don't think it's a big deal. One of the things I teach you in here is how to really own your name, say it like you mean it, say it in a way that nobody will forget it, say it in a way that emboldens you and gives you confidence and connects you to the version of you that is capable of anything you put your mind to. There's a section in here on how to specialize, make your name special and work for you as a confidence anchor. There are sessions on external validation. There are sessions on knowing your why, like what drives you, on decision making. All of this It's just step by step. And every step you go through, you add another brick, another layer to that confidence. This works. I'm so proud of it. I'm so excited for you. That's the QR code if you're ready to sign up now and get that free bonus gift. I can't wait to get that into your hands. Okay, so let's move on to questions. I have talked a lot. I am aware of that. But there's a lot I wanted to share with you today. I wanted to make sure you got so much value. So I'm just going to bring my iPad in front of me so that I can see the questions a little bit more clearly for you. So just while I'm doing that and opening these up, please feel free to keep adding, and I'm going to answer as many of those questions as I possibly can. Right, I just need to connect this here and answer some of these questions. Bear with me. Okay, all right. Okay, do you have to be a lawyer to join? So you don't have to be a lawyer to join Confident Black Lawyers. Obviously, I have created this program for Black lawyers. I have Black lawyers in mind. The references, the examples speak to the Black experience. I've done that very purposely, and I've done that also on purpose and purposefully, and I've done that in service of my mission to really support Black lawyers to progress, to fulfill their potential in this industry. But the exercises are the same. The exercises will work for you. This process will work for you, whoever you are. So if you know you want to build confidence and what you've heard, like, is what you are wanting me to walk you through that process, then look, you can still join this program. You are free to just join and still access those materials and work through those videos and build your confidence. Okay. Can you tell me the cost again? Yes, it's £600. Yeah, it's for the whole program. £600 for the 6-month course. And then what happens is, as you get to the end of that course, you can decide, like literally say, oh, actually, I really want to keep having access to these materials and these exercises. These are going to still be useful to me. I still want to be able to go to these coaching sessions. They've been really brilliant at helping me implement and really also get to know and see the different examples of other people implementing this stuff. And I want to still be part of the community of Confident Black Lawyers. I want to stay in the program, and you'll be able to do that on a monthly basis with the £48. It's £48 a month currently, right? £48 a month to subscribe after you've done the 6-month program. One thing that you will have is when you go through, one thing that is available, and let me know if this is something that you want, is you can, I've kind of done an offer, which is that you can buy the 6-month program and then you can buy 6 months of the membership. If you buy all of that in one, I've given like a 10% discount. So if you think that would be something you're interested in, so you know that you're going to be in the program for a year and you're getting it for the cost of less than a year, if you see what I mean, because you're buying the membership, a 6-month membership at the same time, then let me know. Okay, so message me on here or DM me, reach out to me on any platform, and I will send you the link and the details to that. One of your questions is, do I also provide individual coaching? So no, I don't provide individual coaching on this program. I know that this is something that you think is the best way for you to build confidence and to get the result that you want. What I want to offer is that after 15 years of coaching people from at all different levels and on a broad range of issues relating to like their career progression and confidence and achieving their goals and fulfilling their potential, what I want to offer you is that the experience of group coaching is unlike any experience that you can get in one-to-one coaching. It's great having like one-on-one attention, feels like you would go further and it would be better. But in a group, number one, you're not alone. Number two, you are learning from everybody else in the group. Number three, you actually recognize how much of your situation is so common and how what you experience, how many other people experience it too. And that is so reassuring. And then the final part, and most importantly, all my clients who are in a group program with me, they learn quicker and get results much, much quicker as a result of the group dynamic. because of that, I call it 360 coaching, because you're hearing me coach someone else on the exact same issue that you have. Or you hear me coach someone else on an issue you haven't had today, and then you go into the office tomorrow and you're like, oh my gosh, Caroline just coached on that. I know exactly what to do. Yeah. So I don't offer individual coaching on this program because you don't need individual coaching on this program. It may feel like you do right now if you've not had the experience of group. I want to offer from my 15 plus years of experience of coaching lots of different formats, that the group format, especially for this movement and what we're creating and the collective confidence we're building together, which will also reinforce your individual confidence in who you are. The group dynamic is absolutely the best for this container, for this program. Okay. Thank you very much for that question, though. I know so many people will be asking that and wondering that. Okay, other questions. Let me see how we're doing for time. Okay, we're doing good for time. Okay, yes. All right. Yeah. What happens if you don't understand anything and you need help and you get stuck? So there are two different ways. One, you can bring it to the coaching, okay? Number two is bring it to the community. So you will be able to access this program on your phone through the app, okay? And at the moment, I've got an app. The app is through the platform, but I'm actually also developing just like one that's all branded as well, which is going to look so beautiful. But you can access it through an app. And on that app, you will be able to submit questions for coaching. You will also, which I'll coach on in the live sessions, you will also be able to use the community threads, right? So there will be different threads for different topics that come up, and you will be able to ask for help on those. So this isn't a program you sign up to and then there's no one, like you're on your own doing it. You're part of the community who are all supporting each other. So other people will be able to actually offer you the benefit of like what worked for them or from their experience. And that's something that I think is missing. It really is missing quite a lot of that in this community, especially, right, of Black lawyers. Like it's a lonely experience a lot of the time. And so that's what I wanted to help to remedy, is by having this community and having a place where we can all be supporting each other on our journeys. Okay, so use the community, use the submit a question for the live coaching, and that's how you will be getting very very real, very relevant, very directed coaching and support. Okay, all right. Can I pay by installments? It is possible to pay by installments. You can pay by 2 installments. Okay, so what I will do is when I circulate the replay of this webinar, I will also send you a link to pay. It's just 2 installments and you have to pay those within 4 weeks. So it's up to you, right? If you can pay, and this QR code will take you to the page where you can just pay up straight away. That's what I recommend you do, and then it's just done. You are in, you are ready to roll with the videos, and you don't need to think about payments anymore. But if you did need to, particularly if you're a student, for example, you wanted to stagger it in 2 payments, then I do offer you that opportunity, because I thought I could think about that too, right? Want it to be really, really accessible for you. All right. Any more questions? I think I've answered that one already. Oh yeah, thank you. It's so nice to hear like you've been waiting for something just like this. I have been waiting to create this for you for such a long time. So I'm just really thrilled that I know it's exactly what is going to give you everything you need. Yeah, just put so much work and so much thought into it. It's going to be really, truly, truly amazing. What can you say? Oh, can you say more about the private podcast? Yeah, so what that is the audio recording of the those live coaching sessions. Again, I'm thinking you're busy, your time schedules are all different. Sometimes you'll be able to make the live coaching sessions, sometimes you won't. And by the way, the timings of those sessions will be at different times. So UK time will be in the morning, a lunchtime, and an evening, to make sure that wherever you are in the country, or in the world, rather, wherever you are in the world, there'll be a time that suits you if you do want to join those sessions. But either way, the private podcast, available to members only, will be an audio of the coaching I give, right? Of those coaching sessions. So you can listen to it on the go and still get that learning, which is so important. Okay. All right. Just keeping an eye on the time here, because I'm definitely not going to run over. All right. So there's a recap then, once again, of what you get in Confident Black Lawyers. This is the online program that I created to help you implement it so that you don't have to go away and think, okay, how do I mine the gold of my experience? How do I remember who I am? How do I connect to the version of me that's capable of anything? How do I manage my mind? Like all of that stuff. I know I've given you a lot as I've walked you through this process. Well, it's all set out and waiting for you inside Confident Black Lawyers. The course, the community, the coaching, you get the workbook if you join in the next 48 hours, and it's all there so available for you on whatever device you like to use. It's such a beautiful, simple platform, giving you access to all those videos. You can pause, you can move forward, you can skip forward, however you want. And that's also within that platform, you have access to the community and the Confidence Black Lawyers Club, which you will join when you will graduate to when you finish the program. So exciting. All right, so that concludes today's session. It has been a marathon, it has been a whirlwind, and it has been my absolute pleasure to walk you through really what's going on with your imposter syndrome and your self-doubt and how it's holding you back so you can get really clear on that and let go of any attachment or being stuck in the diagnosis, right? Staying there for years and years, wishing you were more confident, but just like being stuck in the, yeah, but what is this feeling? And why do I do this? Yeah, I've made it really clear, set it out for you. And then I gave you the solution, right? Which is, can you remember what it is? Can you remember what it is? You just have to remember who you are. It's already inside of you. So the only thing you have to do, the only thing you need is the process to find that version of you that is capable of anything you set your mind to. You just need my help, and I've offered some help today in terms of where you want to look. But like in this coaching program, I've literally walked you through step by step, every step of the way to mining the gold of your experience to connect with that version of you. And then in doing that, you'll be getting to work as like feeling confident. And every time you do that, your confidence grows, your confidence compounds. Okay. So that, my friends, is how to be confident and to take this work further, to get started today, this minute, this weekend. Scan the QR code. It's going to take you right to the page you can check out. It's going to take you right to the program. You can get started right away. Thank you so much for joining me. It has been a pleasure. Just checking in and no more questions. So I will sign off right now. But again, look out for an email that will be circulating in the next 24 hours. I will send you the replay. I will send you those links again, okay, for you to access the program. All right. And if you have any questions, any more questions that I haven't answered, I think I've answered most of them. Some of them were repeat questions. DM me on social media. I'm on all the socials. Thank you so much for your time. It has been my absolute pleasure. I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.